Hey peoples. Okay, so this is not going to be a long video. I just kind of want this to be short because I got some stuff to do today. I got to get these nails done again because, oh my goodness, this last weekend was a lot of fun. Spent some time with the family. My aunt turned 70. I did a whole video about that, you guys. You already know. I was spending some time with my older sister as well because she's kind of going through it right now. So pray for her, you guys. Pray for the family. It's been rough these last few days. That's why I didn't post anything yesterday because it was a whole day. It was just a lot going on there. But while I was at my sister's house, I was going through her library because I read all my books. All the books I own, I've read. Fiction, nonfiction. I just read everything that I own. And it's like, do you know what it's like to have read every single book in your house? Every book that you've ever owned, like, I've read all of them down to my Star Trek comic books. I've just read everything, right? And so I'm going through her library because it's like, well, I need a new book to read. See if I can find something um, that would be interesting. And so I'm going through her library, and there were two books that I was kind of surprised were in her library. This is not a woman that you would say is a conservative, at least, not a registered conservative. You know what I think? I think a lot of black folk are conservative. They just don't know that they are. I mean, she's all about God, Jesus Christ, family, business, right? I mean, she's a small business owner. She's, family oriented. She loves the Lord. I mean, the woman could quote scripture to you when you're having a bad day just to kind of give you the faith based perspective to help you get through your day. I mean, this woman is a conservative, even though she doesn't register as one. But then the one book that she had, I had no interest in reading at all, was a book by Nikki Haley. And I thought, well, I don't like this woman. She signs her names to bombs just for the heck of it, just for fun. And I just think that's incredibly evil and demonic. And so I just had no interest in reading that book. The other book that she had, which I was kind of surprised that she did have, was Time to Get Tough written by President Trump. Now, this book, you guys, I don't know if you guys can see that. I got the coffee in my other hand. So, I'm not ready to put that down yet. But in this book, you guys know, I told her, like, oh my goodness, this is like MAGA 101. You're not going to read this book. You should just let me have this book. She's not going to let me have it. She is letting me borrow it. I'm a third into the book at the moment, so I'm really enjoying this read. She said, no, it's going to help you understand, how to make money. I'm like, no, that's the other book, The Art of the Deal, that's where you get like his background story. He talks about how he went from being, turning $1 million into $1 billion business and all the rest of that. That's a great book as well. I didn't get a chance to read that one yet. I do want to read that one. I only read the Google preview, and I do want to read that book. So that's not the one that she had, though. She has this one, Time to Get Tough, Making America Number One Again. So this is where the MAGA thing came out. Now, guys, this book came out in 2011. So it was right around the time where President Obama was running for re-election. And you guys, I was reading the first few chapters, and he's breaking down what's wrong with America, how we're being taken advantage of, what's going on with the conflicts, or what weren't conflicts but should have been, with countries like China, how the rest of the world is taking advantage of the United States, and he's tired of America being treated like trash, and he wants to make America number one. He wants to make America great again. And, I say all this to say, because some people are going to be like, well, why is this relevant now? Why are you talking about this? I mean, you're reading the book and the book is great. Why is this relevant to talk about today? Now, the reason why I'm talking about this, you guys, is because as I was reading the first few chapters, I go through my phone, go through my Google feed just to see what's something I'm going to talk about today, and some other stories as well that I could do for Archie's briefings. That's where I get some of my ideas from my YouTube feed, my Google feed, things like that. I was going through my Google feed, and a story comes out that's talking about my governor, Josh Shapiro, here in Pennsylvania. And he's going over some of these ideas that he has for energy, trying to make energy affordable. And I already had issues with Josh Shapiro for a few reasons. And I am going to break a few of those reasons down to you guys. But this one I kind of want to speak to specifically. The reason why is because, very similar to what happened with President Obama during his, I believe it was his first term, President Trump breaks it down in one of these, I believe it might have been either the first or the second chapter, I believe it's what it was, but he's talking about President Obama's energy policies, where in it he was saying that he wants to go through this gradual adjustment. So prices on gas will just seem to increase, fossil fuels will increase, so we can get society used to using alternative energies. So that's the cap and invest idea. This is what the article was saying Josh Shapiro wants to do. The policy that Obama had come out with was cap and invest, which sounds like, okay, we're going to cap the gas companies from, hitting a certain price, from raising prices to a particular price, and we're going to invest taxpayer dollars into alternative energy companies. This was the idea. This obviously made all the environmentalist radicals, all the far leftists get excited about this because, oh, well, this means that we're going to be able to save the planet. And this is how the policy is going to save the planet, when really all it did was increase the prices on gas, make products more expensive, for the American consumer, and the so-called energy company that he invested millions and millions of dollars into fell apart. and that there were stories that had come out during that time showing why the company that Obama had invested taxpayer dollars in was pretty much a sham, pitfall, didn't work out, didn't go through the proper channels, didn't get the proper reviews the way other energy companies would have to. Yet he was willing to give them all this money, which didn't really do anything about it. And it's like, oh, well, we tried to do something, it didn't work out, but that's okay. You just wasted millions and millions of taxpayer dollars on something that seems like you kind of knew wasn't going to work. Yet the people who worked for this entity walked away with extra millions. So it doesn't seem like you had any intention on actually providing any real alternative energy sources. You just wanted to make one of your biggest campaign donors richer. That's what that looked like, okay? Because the person who started this business, who had this money coming in, was a donor to President Obama's campaign. Like that's what that looked like. And didn't even work, right? You spent millions and millions of taxpayer dollars on something that you had no real idea was going to work, but you gave him this money because he was your campaign donor. And then you wanted to manipulate the prices by capping prices on gas companies, which is, again, government interfering with the private sector. Again, problematic. And so then I read this article, I believe it was the Washington Post, talking about Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania, and he's trying to do the exact same thing. And the first thing I thought was, first of all, where are all the Republicans at in the state of Pennsylvania? I read further down and it says that they are opposing this. It's like, good, thank you. Because here's the thing, guys, I'm a person of faith. I don't believe in coincidences. There's no way that I just finished reading about that ridiculous policy out of Trump's book, Time to Get Tough, that I then read this article saying that Josh Shapiro wants to do the exact same thing that President Obama did back in his first term. Okay, this was the argument that Trump was making why the American people shouldn't reelect President Obama. Obviously, they did. And during that time, you guys, I was a teenager, so I didn't care about policies. I didn't care about none of those things. I wasn't driving, I didn't have a driver's license, wasn't paying for groceries. I was a teenager being taken care of by her parents. And of course, my family voted for Barack Obama because he was the first black president. He's obviously going to be better than Mitt Romney. I mean, even Republicans, people like Marsha Blackburn, were not happy with Mitt Romney's campaign. Just not happy. You're supposed to rebrand the Republican Party into the Great Opportunity Party and not be the guy that says we don't like gay people. Like, yo, we don't care. That's between them and the big guy. Focus on the things that actually affect every American, like prices and affordability, like trying to get better trade deals, like being able to put America back into its rightful place as the shining city on the hill. Like that's what you should be doing, and you're just not doing that. And so not even the Republicans, right? We're talking about the conservative America First Republicans. Even then, that's just not what they called themselves, right? They didn't call themselves America First because it hadn't been coined yet, right? The phrase had not been coined by Trump yet. So of course they weren't calling them that, but that's what they were about, and they didn't like Mitt Romney for that. And so now here you have Josh Shapiro, my governor, who most likely I believe is going to be the Democratic nominee for 2028's presidential election. I think you're going to have Josh Shapiro versus Gavin Newsom on the Democrat side. And people are going to vote for Josh Shapiro because he's going to come across as the moderate. And what I'm here to tell you guys is that this man is not a moderate. Okay? He's not a moderate at all. There is no way, again, I don't believe in coincidences that I read about Obama's policy of the cap and invest, spending millions of dollars of taxpayer dollars into alternative energy companies while you're trying to save and make prices affordable for gas. And then you didn't do that. The complete opposite happened. And the Republicans come out of the state and they're like, do you think we're stupid? Like, we don't know that Obama tried to do this. Like, you don't know that when it did happen, it didn't work. Like, do you think we're dumb? Do you think the people are dumb? Like, I didn't know this when this was first happening with Obama because, again, I was a teenager. But then I read this book, you guys, and again, I'm not finished. I'm only a third into the book, and I'm like, yo, he gets it. He gets it. He gets it. People were saying that he was inexperienced, that he would not make a good president, that he doesn't know what he's talking about. This book came out a few years before he announced his candidacy for the presidency. This is what happened with Trump, that is. And I'm like, you read this book came out before he announced he was running for president. And I'm like, yeah, nah, he gets it. I think the American people who voted for him back then read this book and thought, yeah, this is our guy. I get it. Totally get it. Because he gets it. He gets it. MAGA 101, you guys. MAGA 101. Making America number one again? Come on. Like, this is the book. If you're a conservative, you're America First, you should read it because this is going to say how we can decipher who's really America First and who's not America First. Why we can say he's the candidate and why Mitt Romney was trash, right? Why we can trust people like J.D. Vance, kind of, versus someone like Dan Crenshaw, right? You can look at these individuals by how they vote, what their policies are looking like, and say, yeah, no, I'm not just going to go with you because you say you're conservative. I don't care that you're wearing the red tie. What do you actually believe? How are you voting? What are you doing? The Republicans are coming out in the state of Pennsylvania like, yeah, this is a problem. Governor Shapiro, you guys, wants to extend the state government, okay, because, all these layoffs that are happening because of Doge. He's saying to these federal workers who have just been laid off, oh, come to Pennsylvania. Come here. We're hiring. We're hiring all you. We'll hire as many. We're hiring thousands of government workers. So he believes in strengthening the government position. Okay. He wants the government to compete against the private sector. Okay. I don't care if you support marijuana, like it, don't like it, think it should be legal, think it should be illegal. In the state of Pennsylvania, it's legal. And what he wants to do is have the state compete against small business owners who sell the same product, and we think that's a good idea. Now you want to take $50 million, okay, over $50 million, and invest into a hydrogen power plant, which is going to destroy the farmland. Like, that's what the article points out. Where are you, environmentalist? Okay, he wants to flood out all this farmland to build the hydrogen power plant, and we think this is a good idea. Why? So he wants to destroy the environment because he wants to give millions of taxpayer dollars to an energy company like Obama did. Okay, he wants to strengthen the position of the government by hiring all these laid off federal workers to the state of Pennsylvania, as well as competing in the private sector. This man is not a moderate, you guys. He's not a moderate. That's why I decided to do this video today, because I'm reading this book, and then I see that article, and it's just been confirmed even more for me. This guy, I do believe, is going to be the guy who runs against Gavin Newsom for the Democratic nominee position in the presidential election. I do believe that's what's going to happen. Well, if Josh Shapiro is running against a Gavin Newsom, there's no way he's going to lose, because, again, we know that a far leftist radical cannot beat President Trump or a Trump-esque kind of a character, right? So if it is J.D. Vance on the Republican side, Gavin Newsom's not beating J.D. Vance. But why Josh Shapiro might be able to. You guys, in order for the magician to convince the audience that an illusion is real, okay, the magician has to come up with a plausible diversion. That plausible diversion in politics is the moderate Democrat, okay? We thought the same thing about Joe Biden, and this is why a lot of people voted for him. We just need normal, okay? The government is doing okay. The economy is doing better. I mean, yes, COVID did happen, but we are better off today than we were. We can get back to normal. You voted for something that you thought was normal, and still all hell broke loose. Prices got even higher. We're dealing with crazy inflation. Wars broke out all over the world. I mean, you're going to get the same thing with Josh Shapiro. This man is not a moderate, and this guy is my governor, yo. Yo, you guys, this guy, he annoys me. I couldn't stand him when I saw that he wanted the government to compete in the private sector for selling marijuana. Frankly, I would rather you try to make this thing illegal rather than you trying to compete against the private sector. But if those are the options, I'd rather you have it legal and not compete, if that's the whole thing here. Listen, I would rather this thing be made illegal, but hey, if this is what you're trying to do, I would rather you just not be involved in this. How about you stop trying to strengthen the position of the government? Because this is what he's about. Strengthening the position of the government by competing in the private sector and hiring all these damn workers to the government. That's what he's about, okay? He wants to manipulate the prices when it comes to our energy. He wants to use taxpayer dollars to invest into unproven, at least to our knowledge as consumers, unproven, not really tested energies, because again, if he's doing exactly what Obama did, you can't really guarantee that these companies are going to go through the proper channels. Why should we trust you? This guy is no moderate. And I just don't want anybody looking at this guy like he's going to be the future of normalcy in America, okay? I don't care that you're Jewish, Josh Shapiro. I don't care. I don't care that you're Jewish. I don't care that you're going to give us the illusion that you're going to put Israel first. And conservatives, we seem to have a thing about wanting to protect Israel. I think America first does not mean not getting involved in other countries, which is unfortunate, because even Trump is trying to do something about the Israel thing. I let them war. I don't care. It's not our problem, not our business. We're not get our people out of there and just call it a day. That's how I feel about this whole thing. I would just rather not be involved in other countries' business, frankly. Okay. I have nothing against the people of Israel. I've got nothing against the Palestinians, except for the ones that be trying to kill us, okay? But it seems to me that they be trying to kill us because we keep getting involved. How about we not get involved? Let's try that for a change, right? So, seems to me that if you have a conservative, if you have a moderate Democrat who is Jewish, you can get the Jewish vote. You can get some of the conservative vote. And this is why people are going to think why he might be useful, that he might be able to beat someone like J.D. Vance. And I don't want y'all thinking that this guy's a moderate. He's just not, okay? He's a plausible diversion. That's all he is, okay? He's going to be the Trojan horse, no different than Joe Biden. I think we all just need to know that. I read this book, and now I can look at what exactly they're trying to do. They did it with the 2020 election. They tried with 2024. They saw the difference, right? The difference between running a fake moderate like Joe Biden and a far leftist like Kamala Harris. Radicals can't beat conservatives, America First conservatives. You just can't beat us. You can't. You're in free fall because you tried to run a far leftist and you've gone so far left. You know you need a moderate, and that's Josh Shapiro. And this guy, I'm here to tell you guys, is not that. He is not a moderate. He's going to play on the fact that he is a Jewish man, and so he can get conservatives that way. He's going to play on the fact that he has a state that has a very big, hard labor force, right? That's what you have here in Pennsylvania. A lot of men. This is what hurt Kamala Harris from winning Pennsylvania, right? She could not attract the men, which is very big here in Pennsylvania. Josh Shapiro is going to be able to get that because he got that when he was running for governor. He was able to get the men vote here. He was able to get women as well. He was able to get the, blue collar job labor workers. He was able to get some of the conservatives because, he seems to be common sense, he's a person of faith, he's family oriented. So he can get the conservatives, he can get the Democrats, he can get the men, he can get the women. This guy could run for president and he could win. This is a problem because he is not the moderate. Not the moderate. And when I saw exactly what the cap and invest policy is after reading this book, I've just been confirmed because I do not want to hold him accountable or responsible, I should say, for what you're getting with the Democrats, right? Like, no, he's his own person. He's his own thing. She didn't choose him because obviously she disagrees with his type of Democrat. That's what you saw with Kamala Harris, why she chose Tim Walz over Josh Shapiro. There's too many differences between his type of Democrat and Kamala Harris type of Democrat that difference is the reason why he could win. And I'm here to tell you, he's no different than what you saw with Joe Biden. He's just a Trojan horse. Do not believe this man is a moderate. He's not, okay? He's no different. Joe Biden was the moderate, and you found out that he wasn't. All hell broke loose. The Paris Climate Accords. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Too weak to defend our values, too weak to defend our position, and all hell broke loose around the world. I mean, you'll get the same damn thing with Josh Shapiro. I think every conservative, America First conservative specifically, should read this book, MAGA 101. These ideas, people, I thought the man was not fit when he first came down the escalator. I was a Democrat at the time. I read this and I'm like, I get why they voted for him back then. I understood why I voted for him in 2020, and I understand why I voted for him yet again. He gets it. This man, Josh Shapiro, not a moderate. He's going to run. I think he's going to run, and he's going to be the moderate. He's going to be the one that they chose to be the Democratic nominee against possibly J.D. Vance. We shall see. You guys get in the comments. Let me know what you think about this, because to be honest with you guys, this guy is not. Josh Shapiro, not a moderate. He's not. He's faking. He's a phony. I think we all know this about the Democrats. They're just phonies. They're phonies. And we got that some on our side as well. Those are your Dan Crenshaw types, your Paul Ryans, your Mitt Romneys, the uniparty of just demonic behavior. We have that regardless of party. Okay. So read the book, understand the policies. If you're watching this channel, chances are you obviously do. But just know, look out for the Democrats in your state, governors, all of it, because they're going to come across as moderates, and really, they're just not. Thank you all for watching. I will see you guys later in Archie's briefings. I got to go take care of some stuff, my nails, sell some policies, get some stuff done. I'm going to keep my coffee, you guys. I've been talking for a minute. Love you guys. So see you all later. God bless and Kempla.